Hi, this is Magda from Interiors Exteriors. In this video, I'll show you a 54 square meter apartment owned by a violinist who combines her passion for music with her love for historic apartment building interiors.
Hi, my name is Malowina and I live in an old pre-war apartment building in Wrocław. I've been in Wrocław since 2014, and when I started looking for my own place in this city a few years later, I knew it had to be a historic apartment building. I'm a violinist, and an artistic space with high ceilings, a room with plenty of volume, and a place where everything sounds good was very important to me. I bought this apartment in 2018. I moved in after a complete renovation a year later, in the fall of 2019. This apartment evolves with me. Something is always changing here. Not everything is perfect yet, not everything is finished yet, but that's just how life is. And this space is a place for making music, it's a place for creating art together. Here I meet with friends, acquaintances and family, and I just feel good here. I hope you'll like it here too.
Of course, we start at the entrance, and right here we have a very tall wardrobe. We're in a historic apartment building, so the ceiling is high, and of course those upper cabinets aren't used every day. They serve as a kind of storage space, like a basement, where you can hide backpacks, sleeping bags, and things you don't use very often. And down here we have regular wardrobes for clothes, shoes on this side, and outerwear over here. On this side there's a coat rack with a shelf. And the hooks are placed at a certain distance from the wall, so the clothes actually hang in the air and don't rub against the wall. And this is a rarely seen solution, but at the same time very practical. Because think about it, people often say that clothes can dirty the wall, but when they don't touch it, we don't have that problem. Down here there are boxes where you can also store various things, and besides that they have comfortable seats, so you can also sit on them while putting on your shoes. Further on, there are entrances to the individual rooms, the bathroom, the bedroom with a workspace, and the living room with the kitchen. And you can see that the hallway is separated from the living room by a wall built only up to a certain height. Above, it looks like there's a glass partition, but it's actually just a loft-style frame, which looks beautiful and lets a lot of light into the hallway. Thanks to this, we don't have to turn on the lights during the day because it's always bright in here. The kitchen construction is from IKEA, but the solid wood countertop was ordered from a carpenter, and that's a great idea for modular furniture. We can combine them with different fronts, order a countertop from somewhere else, or go for some unique handles, and in this way give our kitchens a more individual character. There are tiles by the cabinets on the floor, and it's the same pattern you already saw in the hallway, and we'll see soon in the bathroom. And here, at the junction of the tiles and the herringbone parquet, there's cork, and I have to tell you, this is my favorite way to connect floors. It really looks very nice. The kitchen cabinetry starts with the refrigerator, and then we have a lot of drawers at the bottom. Here are plates on a special organizer with pegs, which helps keep the plates from sliding around when you open the drawer. Below, there's a drawer for containers and boxes. And see how the lids and the boxes have been sorted separately, which helps keep everything organized and allows you to arrange everything nicely, while also not taking up too much space. Here we have a drawer with baskets, here a dishwasher, and here a corner cabinet, the kidney-shaped type. Next, a drawer with hidden deeper drawers. And here are various food products. At the bottom, there are bottles. They are arranged with a special divider so they don't tip over when opening. And up here are spices, and some that haven't been transferred to special containers are arranged in small baskets. Thanks to this, everything stays organized, is easily accessible, and looks beautiful. And here at the end, again, we have two drawers, but inside there are additional hidden drawers. And down here there's space for larger accessories. Above there are cutlery, a beautiful gold set. And at the very top there are items that almost everyone has in their kitchen, things like baking paper or foil. And yet, we often don't take them into account when planning the kitchen. It's worth considering where we'll keep them so that we can easily reach for them. And they shouldn't block our cutlery drawer, because it often happens that the cutlery is next to those papers, and then the drawer is so full that it's sometimes hard to open. I'm sure you know what I mean. And down here, there's also a beautifully organized drawer with containers. Look how wonderful it looks. Everything is easy to see. Plus, everything is beautifully labeled so we don't confuse the flowers at first glance. After all, they do look similar. And how did Malwina manage to plan her kitchen so well? She had a great method. Before Malwina started designing this kitchen, she first took a closer look at her previous one. She checked which storage solutions had worked well so far and which ones were definitely worth giving up. And she analyzed exactly what she keeps in the kitchen and which items need to have some new convenient space arranged for them. In fact, we should probably start every project by getting to know our needs well. The table was originally supposed to be here, but later, while living here, it turned out that it works much better in the middle. And I have to tell you, I really like having the table in the center of the room, and it's also very convenient when it's close to the kitchen. You can easily reach for something, freely talk while cooking with people sitting at the table, and when we're doing some serious cooking and start running out of counter space, we can use this extra space here.
Thank you. My apartment is eclectic. Here, old things mix with new ones, permanent with temporary, expensive with cheaper, and I think all of this reflects my way of life and my personality. One of the most interesting artifacts in this apartment is this dresser. And this is an old, several decades old dresser that my dad, who shares with me a love for beautiful antiques, found in Vienna and brought here for me. This dresser still has a working radio inside. So it's a storage place that also adds a lot of charm to this room, as well as a unique, nice atmosphere and vibe. And the second thing, which is very sentimental to me, is this brass chandelier that my dad once found in one of the old Viennese tenement houses, and which has been in our family for many years. It was with us in our apartment in Poznan, and now it's here with me. Quite unusually, not in the center of the room, not in the middle of the ceiling, but in this corner. That's how it is when plans meet reality. But I'm really glad it turned out this way. I think this corner looks fantastic as a whole. I really like the combination of the old brass chandelier, which got a minimalist ceiling rose as its fixture. It's not an original element. I thought it would suit it well. I like this combination with the new modern lamp. I like everything in this little corner of my apartment.
The table you see here was found by Malwina in the basement. It's a keepsake from the previous owners. The only element of this interior that remembers its old life. And here next to it we have a large navy blue velvet sofa that's finished with wood at the bottom. It has a wooden frame and subtle legs. And it's generally a very heavy piece of furniture. When a piece has a wide base, its weight is distributed evenly. It's a bit different when it comes to legs. And they just press hard into the floor, which left slight dents in the wooden parquet here. That's why the sofa eventually ended up on the rug, so it wouldn't dent the floor anymore.
I perceive the world and reality through my senses. Music is my passion and my profession. And that's why I wanted music to be heard in the apartment above all, not seen. The only visual accent that reveals my connection to music is the gold record. Besides being a fantastic keepsake and a great honor, this gold record also fits in here aesthetically very well. Besides that, what hangs on the walls reflects my other passions and interests. My passion for traveling, for the mountains. As for my love of beautiful interiors, I hope the whole apartment simply speaks for itself.
Now we're entering the second room where a mezzanine was built.
Originally, this room, which is about 21 square meters, was the largest space in the apartment. However, I changed the layout a bit, and now the living room with the kitchen is in that part of the apartment, and this room has become my bedroom and workspace. Apparently, you shouldn't combine these two functions in one room, and I actually didn't do that, because my bedroom is on the mezzanine, and here is the area where I work. I'm a violinist, and I practice in my apartment. That's why there are drywall and sound-dampening acoustic panels on the walls. However, this solution didn't really work out because my neighbors who live 2 floors above say they can hear me practicing, but fortunately, it doesn't bother them.
Previously, there was a white desk in this spot, and the drawer unit you see here complemented it nicely. Now, after replacing the desk with a new one, there was also a need to replace the drawer unit. And it's very common in our homes that when we make one change, it leads to a cascade of others. Popular shallow shelves for picture frames don't have to be just for frames. As you can see, you can easily put different containers or plants on them, and here these shelves have also been cut to fit perfectly into this niche. On this wall there's a built-in wardrobe planned, but for now there's a freestanding wardrobe, and look how elegantly it fits here behind the door. If the door were more in the corner, this arrangement wouldn't make sense anymore. Pay attention, especially when buying an apartment that you don't plan to renovate thoroughly, to how the windows and doors are arranged. Because when they're in the corners, they really limit how you can arrange the room. The mezzanine was designed as a sleeping area. There's a nice carpet here, so the low ceiling isn't a problem. You can easily kneel here, crawl on all fours, and you won't hurt your knees. Instead of a regular bed, there are mattresses. Look, there's a frame underneath here, and interestingly, each of these mattresses is a little different. One is foam, the other is a spring mattress, so if we get bored of sleeping on one, we can move to the other. There are 2 wall lamps installed by the bed, which are connected to stair switches. That means we can turn them on both here and downstairs. So if we go down from the mezzanine and forget to turn off the light, there's no need to go back upstairs, we can just turn it off downstairs. And what's also important is that smart bulbs have been installed in the wall lamps, which can be controlled with an app, allowing you to adjust both the color and brightness of the light. The entire wall in the bathroom is built in. Notice that even the flush has been painted in the same color. And here we have a cabinet for regular bathroom accessories. Here's a drawer so everything is easily accessible. And in this part we have a washing machine. A dryer? On this side there's a place for laundry and cleaning supplies on top. Since there's a lot of storage space in the closet, by the sink, Marvina decided on open shelves and therefore planned for a very aesthetic siphon. The contractor installed it backwards and drilled the hole in the wrong spot. And in the end, they had to choose a different model. That's why it's like this now, and I have to tell you, it's the first time I've seen this kind of siphon that you can actually adjust. I think it's a very convenient solution because sometimes it's really hard to measure exactly what size of connectors you need. And here it's flexible, so that's nice. And in the end, the cabinet will be replaced anyway because the black metal countertop doesn't really work well in the bathroom and it's problematic to clean. Pay attention to the tiles on the wall. They're arranged in a herringbone pattern, just like the parquet in the rest of the apartment. After all, it's Malwina's favorite pattern, so this reference is only natural. Here behind me is a beautiful freestanding bathtub on legs. Notice that the bottom doesn't touch the floor, and the whole structure rests only on those legs. It looks really elegant and light. And actually, this bathtub is light. Why am I mentioning this? Because often when it comes to freestanding bathtubs, the topic of cleaning behind them comes up. After all, it's hard to reach back there to, for example, clean the floor. However, when the bathtub has a flexible drain connection and doesn't weigh much, we can simply move it. And now I can get in here and clean freely. And then I slide it back, push the bathtub in, and it's done. Isn't that clever? That's all for this video. I'm looking forward to your comments, your likes, and I invite you to our store, where you can buy, among other things, these little house earrings for interior design enthusiasts, which means for you too. I also encourage you to check out other videos on our channel and of course to subscribe to Wnętrza ze Zewnętrza. See you next time. Bye!